Welcome to sunny Thailand. Actually, it's a little bit too sunny. The temperature has been very, very hot, and as such, everything around me is like spontaneously combusting. Not really, but it's really hot. Nobody in our house wants to go outside, and they're using their air conditioning units to the fullest, which is good and bad. You get a nice cool house, but it comes with a price. So here are some pros. I need to do this in the shade because it's really freaking hot. So currently the temperature is 101 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll translate that to Celsius, but it's really hot. According to the little weather app on my phone, it says that the temperature is going to peak at around 106. Now, it might not be the hottest temperature that somebody has seen, but the important part to take in consideration is the humidity here. So with the real feel, today it's actually going to feel like it's 116. A few days ago, the real feel showed as 119 degrees. So anytime I see the temperature really high like that, I have to double check my location to make sure that I accidentally didn't get transported over to Dubai or like the Mojave Desert in California. The interesting thing is that I left California and they were going through a drought. And right after I left, a lot of wet weather just doused California head to toe. All of the scientists blame El Niño for that. And the first year that I was here, some of the articles that I read actually said that when it's pouring like crazy on the western side of the United States, usually has a drought over in Southeast Asia. It certainly feels that way. So there are some pros and cons to the heat being this high. I'd like to cover some of those. So starting with the cons, if you leave your shoes outside in the sun, they will bake to a crisp. And when you put your feet in there, you will burn your feet, especially if they are black shoes like mine. The second thing that stinks about having the weather too hot is you do run the air conditioning units, and depending on how many people that are over, you may have 3, maybe even 4 of these units running. Now, in a previous video, which I'll link in the description below, we did put solar onto the roof of the house. Now, the solar does help, but it doesn't completely tackle the electric bill. So our last bill, running maybe 3 to 4 of these AC units, was about 5,800 baht. I calculate solar took care of about a third of that. So the price of our bill would have been a third higher. So it would have been pushing 8,000 baht, quite possibly. So it does help, but like I said, it doesn't completely eradicate it. I only have 5 kilowatts sitting on top of the house. I'd like to double that in the future. So since it is very hot, the earth is basically burnt to a crisp. And a lot of the water that's in the dirt itself evaporates, again, adding to the humidity, and everything just turns very, very dry. So if you are an allergy sufferer, this is not a good time because there's a lot of dust in the air. And to couple that with the unfortunate slash and burn that goes on the fields and the wildfires that are happening up north, the air quality suffers. So we actually did go out and buy an air purifier, which has helped with the nighttime experience. Unfortunately, prior to that, and with the smoke and everything that was just covering the house, my wife was starting to wheeze at night, sign of asthma, which is definitely not good. And since we've purchased that air filter, it's actually helped out a lot. So another thing is we just don't want to go outside. We're staying inside. If we do go anywhere, it's a quick trip to the mall where they're paying for the air and not us. Unfortunately, we do have animals, a couple cats, a couple dogs. Probably seen some videos on them, but with the animals, we can't take them to the mall, especially the cats. We might be able to get away with taking the dogs. So yeah, we have to leave the animals at home, and that usually means leaving fans on or even turning on the AC units so they could at least be relaxed some way. I do feel very sorry for the doggies that sit outside the 7-Elevens, and a lot of people, you've probably seen them. I don't know where they get their water. I'm sure they're very resourceful, but like 9 o'clock at night when I'm going to a 7-Eleven to pick up some ice cream or something like that, we'll see a little pack of doggies sitting outside the store, and all of them are just panting like crazy. So I know that they're suffering, and there's probably a lot of other animals out here that are suffering. I'm sure the list of cons can continue, but there are some pros to the heat being what it is. For one thing, I'm currently standing in my garden or my backyard. Technically it's a side yard. Grass is actively dying. You could probably see some of that. So the benefit of the grass dying is that I don't have to cut the grass because it's not growing, which is kind of ironic because I just ordered myself a push mower that I plan on trying. I didn't want to use gas just because of noisy and dealing with all the gas and possibly adding oil and all that garbage. I do have a weed whacker that is gas operated. For some reason, every time I add gas to it and next time I come back to it, if I didn't use all the gas, it evaporates. So that kind of stinks. It just doesn't hold whatever I put into it. The other thing with the electric, since the yard is fairly large, I would have to have a very long extension cord. And when I was living in California, I did have an electric mower with an extension cord. And there were several times that I accidentally ran over the extension cord and severed it. So I don't want to play by that anymore. I do know that they have battery-powered ones, but they're kind of expensive, and longevity-wise, I don't know how long the batteries are going to last. So again, I just want to avoid all of that. So push mower, I don't know if it's going to work. There'll be a video coming on that soon. Our yard is not the smoothest nor the prettiest. The animals absolutely love it, so that's all that I care about. The other thing is the ground. They didn't do a good job of leveling the ground. So like I said, it's not smooth, so there's a lot of ruts and crevices. Crevices mainly because the ground cracked open because of the heat. Crevices, by the way, are a great home for spiders and other bugs, so I don't want to kill anybody on my push mower adventure, but I do need to make the land look a little tidier. So in Thailand, we have a washing machine, but we have no clothes dryer. They do sell them. I believe they're electric only. I don't think anybody does gas dryers here. At least I haven't seen it at the hardware stores. But so most of the people that I know of, they hang all their clothes and everything sun-dried. So if you wash your clothes, you can expect your clothes to be dry in about 5 minutes in this heat. So that's a good thing. It does make for additional work because you gotta fold your laundry as fast as you can, but that's okay. I like hot showers. I always have. My wife thinks I'm crazy, especially on a hot summer's day like this, but I just love the feeling of the hot water on my body. The good news is that in a time like this, you really don't need a hot water heater, one of those wall-mounted water heaters. We do have a little 1,000-liter water tank, which I'll walk over to. So this is our 1,000-liter water tank. It was provided by the home builder. We added a carbon filtration system to hopefully get rid of some of the minerals in the water. There's a lot of iron in the water here. To the right of the carbon filter, we do have a water softener, which is a combination of this canister here that's filled with resin, and then inside this dirty looking box, that's where you would add the salt. So I do like the soft water experience versus the hard water experience, mainly because the hard water kind of makes your skin itchy. But the reason why I'm at the water tank is just the heat and the air is actually warming up the water in the tank, and then in the evening the sun will poke through this way and the rays will warm up that water. So, okay, granted, it's not a hot shower, but it's warm and you could feel it, you notice it. My wife has said to me that, oh, you could probably cook an egg in this water. Now, I don't know if that's completely true. It might take a while, but it's definitely warm. So, benefit. I'm sure there's more pros and cons to this list. Other people, if you know of a pro or a con that is affecting your life over here in Thailand, please add it as a comment down below. And let's see, even if they're funny, I love funny stuff, so just add whatever. The other thing that my wife had said to me is that she wanted me to put a sprinkler system either onto the roof of the house or onto the carport area. The benefit there is that with the water coming down, it should be a little bit cooler. It should cool down the house, or at least the inside of the house. Now, the good thing for us is that the cost of using water is very, very low. I think when we have a lot of visitors to our house, our water bill was 80 baht. 80 baht. On a normal usage schedule, just with my wife, my daughter, and myself, it runs about 60 baht. So if I did throw the sprinkler system onto the roof, then, add another 100 baht, it's still fairly cheap compared to the bill that I would get in America. So I would say 100 baht is $3 and change, right? In America, my water bill would be probably over $200. So in California particularly, it's considered a desert state, so they don't get a lot of rain. And every year they threaten droughts and rationing of water and all that stuff. So it's no fun. But it comes with a hefty price tag. Now, I know there are areas in Thailand that are having similar experiences with drought-like conditions. I just saw some news today that said that Krabi, the island, was like weeks away from just having all their water gone. They had aerial photography of the reservoir that's on the island it looked like it was pretty much empty. So I know it happens here, but at least in Phitsanulok, they have an abundance of water. At least it feels that way. I don't know how long that's going to last. I know in the other province where we've got a house, which is in Phitsanulok, I feel for the farmers there because, they can't plant and replant often because there's no water to plant with. So my prediction is that this El Niño is not going to get any better. And next year, maybe even the year after that, it's still going to be really dry here in Thailand. Wet for the west coast of the United States, but very dry over here in Thailand. So, I know, save more water. I know people, they put like little irrigation systems for water runoff on the roofs of their home and store it in giant cauldron type jugs that have lids. So maybe people need to do more of that to save some water for emergency, at least to water their plants, trees, whatever. We have a lot of fruit trees in our yard that we planted. I feel sorry for them because when my wife waters them, it's boiling water coming out the tip of the hose. So I feel sorry every time she waters them because these plants are just getting scalded. None of the leaves are browning or dying or anything like that, so that's a good thing. So a lot of what we have planted in the yard is mango. The plants over here have not given us any fruit yet. This one here is probably maybe a year away, or at least a season away from producing. This guy has produced some fruit, as well as this little one. This has actually produced a lot of fruit. We have kapow. This looks like actually one of our first victims. There's a whole bunch of potted plants that we had in this particular area, but as the seasons changed and the sun, we had to move a lot of them under the carport. But this one we didn't move, and it looks like it's taken a beating under the sun. So maybe after I'm done with this video, I will move this to safety. But here's some other plants. Oh man. So again, one of my other videos I talk about stinging sweat. It's just dripping down and it stings like heck. Here's some kapow. So if you like pakapao or something like that, that's what that is. Like what, a Kiefer lemon tree. I'm actually surprised that it's got any fruit on it. Next to that, we've got some lemongrass, and that might be another lime tree. I'm not sure. More lemongrass. Back in California, we had a huge lemongrass plant. And all of the neighbors in the area, they would stop by and, knock on our door asking, hey, can we take some of your lemongrass? And we always said yes. I think that's another mango next to some mysterious something. And then we've got the kapow, another mango. The cats love to hide inside this particular bush. They try to ambush birds that like to land in our property. This is actually the first plant or tree. I don't know. Is this a plant or a tree? Anyways, a banana. This is the first one that we planted when we purchased the property. And it's actually doing well. I haven't seen any evidence of fruit bearing yet, but hopefully soon. No mangoes yet on this. And this little guy has produced by far the most mangoes. They're literally just drooping down to the ground, which I guess made a nice pathways for the insects just to hop on the tree. But they were delicious. I have no idea what this is, but it was one of the early plants that got inserted into the earth here. And back to our grass. So our grass, quote unquote, is basically a combination of various weeds, or at least I would call them weeds. Nothing was officially planted, but it does keep the yard green, and it's not a brown wasteland of dirt and mud when it rains. So, and like I said, the animals absolutely love it. They'll just run around and chase each other and hide in the tall grass, which I'll be cutting soon. So, take note of my face at the beginning of the video and what it looks like now. It's hot, and I'm probably going to be sunburnt from this video. But anyways, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please click one of the video links below or click the playlist.